Hey everyone, just wanted to jump on here and check in. We are into week 2 now. I'm seeing all of the assignments from week 1 coming into me. Starting to grade some. You'll notice that the people who have submitted assignments, I have graded 1 paper so far. I'm working on the next 2 assignments as well. So I wanted to hop on here as I'm grading and noticing some kind of common themes amongst the papers I'm grading, just to give you some insight maybe into some of my grading styles and what my comments mean on your papers. I'm seeing a big theme or pattern with direct quotation citations. This snacks people up a lot, but just remember, please, that when you are directly quoting an author from another source, you have to put that quotation in quotation marks. You also have to include in the citation at the end of the quotation the page or paragraph number from which you obtained that information. So you'll know in a non-direct quotation, you would do the author and the year of publication. Now you also need to include the page or paragraph number from which you got that information from. So just remember that piece. The reason this is so important is because if you don't, it can be considered plagiarism. As you're well aware, OCU, as well as any other institution, takes plagiarism very, very seriously. So I am required to turn to report incidences of plagiarism. Some of you have gotten warnings on this because nearly 50% of your papers are considered plagiarized. However, I'm giving some grace in this area because I know that this is a struggle for a lot of people. I've been doing this since 2015, so I know that understanding citations and when to use certain citations over other citations, it's just very confusing, and I know that. So use your resources that you have in the classroom. The student toolkit will walk you through how to use those citations appropriately, how to write them. Use your Turnitin tool to help you proofread. It's going to tell you if your paper is looking similar to another person's work out there. It'll tell you that you need to include citations or that your paper appears to be plagiarized. So that is a really useful tool, because if it gets to me and I notice that it's 47% plagiarized, I have to count off points for that, and I hate to do that because I know I want to believe, you guys, that you're not doing that on purpose. And so please, please, please take this seriously. Make sure that if you are pulling direct information from, a source, you're quoting it word for word, that you put it in quotations and you cite it appropriately. Also, make sure that whatever you are citing in your paper, you are putting in your reference page, and vice versa. If you have in your reference page, it needs to be cited in the body of your work somewhere. That's a common issue as well that I'm seeing. So just remember those things. There is a template for APA formatting available to you. I'm noticing that some of you are not using that. Use it. It's so easy. All you have to do is fill things in. It's very, very easy. So please use that, because you're missing simple things like the running head on the cover page, a page number, and the title on the rest of your pages, how to appropriately write a reference on the reference page. Super easy things because they're already done for you in this template. So use it, please. It's a tool, and it's so helpful. I wish I would have had that in my bachelor's degree and my graduate school work. So it's a really helpful resource, so use it. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, one of your fellow classmates brought up a very, very good question that I thought was worthy of hopping on here and kind of explaining to you. And that person asked, what is the difference between counselors, and life coaches? And so I wanted to hop on here and just kind of give you a quick rundown of what the differences are. Life coaches are becoming very, very popular. It's kind of trendy to use a life coach. Obviously, the counseling field has been around forever and ever. Not really, just since about the 1940s and 50s when Sigmund Freud came into the picture. And he was a psychiatrist. So he's really kind of who paved the way for the counseling field to get started. Obviously, you guys probably already know that he's kind of the founder of the psychoanalytical theory. So anyways, life coaches are kind of a new trend that you're seeing. And the biggest difference between the two of them is that counselors we're focused on mental health and obviously substance abuse as well. And we're focused on the healing process of that. Life coaches are more focused on helping you achieve goals. So healing and achievement are the biggest difference. Some of the smaller differences, it's actually a pretty big difference too, is that life coaches don't have a licensing board. You will find some like certified life coach sort of programs that you can get into, but there's no licensing board like the Ohio Counselor, Social Worker, and Marriage and Family Therapist Board, the Ohio Chemical Dependency Board. Those things don't exist for life coaches. Why I think that's important is because it's important for us to have rules and guidelines to follow. It's important for us to make sure that we are falling within those rules and guidelines, especially ethical guidelines. So I actually appreciate that we have a standard sort of set way of going about doing things. So when we get those licenses, like my license, I have an LPCCS license, I have a set of rules I have to follow. And if I don't follow those rules, I can get in trouble. And I like that because I think it holds us accountable. Life coaches don't have that. And so they are free to kind of do what they want in a certain way. And so I don't know. I just think that gets a little tricky, and you never know what you're going to get when you work with a life coach because of that. I think they can be very, very helpful, and I have worked with clients who have also worked with life coaches, and they say really great things about them. So back to the differences. Major difference is one, counselors focus on healing, life coaches focus on achieving goals. Counseling therapy is typically rooted in the past and the present, and life coaching is rooted in the future. So it focuses on how we can achieve what we do, like what we're doing right now to achieve in the future. It'll reference your past, but it's not going to heal the past. And that is a big, big difference between counseling and life coaching. We're going to focus as counselors, we're going to focus on trying to heal those past wounds. And that's not something that life coaching can do. The structure of the process of counseling and the process of life coaching looks a little different. The structure for life coaching is a bit more rigid. It's meant to be very short term. So we're focused on getting the best outcome for a very short term duration of time. For counseling, it depends on the treatment modality. So if I'm practicing solution focused therapy and my colleague is focusing on psychodynamic theory, for example, those two modes of treatment are going to look way different. Solution focused is a rather short term mode of therapy, and psychodynamic is more rooted in healing a lot of childhood experiences and things like that. So it's going to take longer. So it really depends on the modality of treatment that you choose for the client you're working with. I've had clients for as little as 3 or 4 months to as long as 3 or 4 years. So it just kind of it depends. It depends on what the client presents with, as well as the modality of treatment for that. I think those are the major points. Hopefully that answered your classmates' question. And if you didn't have any questions and wanted some more information on that, well, I just gave it to you. So hopefully that was helpful, and keep the questions coming. If you guys think of things like this question that you're just curious about, you want to know more about, it doesn't specifically have to be about substance abuse. Absolutely, it can be. But even if you're just curious about the counseling field, if you want to know some of my experiences, if you want to hear me talk about, successful cases or cases that were a huge flop for me or anything like that, I'm an open book in that way. I would love for you guys to learn as much as possible from me. So let me know. I think that's about it for today. Let me know if you have any questions about the APA formatting and things. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of time that I can dedicate to explaining and teaching the APA formatting, but I hopefully can lead you to some resources. So reach out if you need that, okay? Praying you all are doing well and you're staying safe and healthy. Take care of yourselves in this tough time. I'll talk to you later. Bye.